Hey guys, good to be here this week for the labs update. On the session side of things, we are well and truly starting onto chunk 2 of closed groups, which is fantastic. All of the devs are making significant progress, and iOS is specifically has made a lot of progress in the last week. I realize I've been talking a lot about the chunks, but I actually haven't really explained them. This is our Bible. I understand that you probably can't see that from there. But basically, this document breaks the groups rebuild down into chunks. So overall, there's 7 chunks. There's 3 chunks that are before our first release. So that means that we need to finish these 3 before we do a public release to the community. And they each contain different things. So the chunk 1 is initial group creation and messages. So that's like getting everyone into the group and being able to like send messages in between the participants. Chunk 2, which we're working on now, is group invites and user management. So being able to invite new people into the group and also manage the users that are in the group. So being able to kick people, being able to promote people to administrator and stuff like that. Although that function's kind of like coming a little bit later. And chunk 3 is updating group info, making sure groups work with the new disappearing messages and content control handling and push notifications. So there's a bunch of small stuff in chunk 3 that we have to get through. So yeah, we're well and truly done with chunk 1 now. We're on to chunk 2, and there's one more chunk before we're able to deliver a release. And the idea behind the first release of closed groups is that it will appear as if the groups are very similar to what they are now in terms of there won't be massive UI changes, anything like that, but the entire backend will be swapped out. And then the idea of the other 4 chunks, which I mentioned, is actually to add features slowly to the plan. So, for example, the first chunk after the release is called Update Conversation Settings. So we're going to be adding new features to conversations. Updated the chunk 2 of the, well, I guess it's chunk 5 technically, is the updated group creation UI. So a new UI to be able to invite people to groups. You'll be able to specify ONS. You'll be able to do a bunch of different things there. Number 3 is group content control and promotions UI. So right now giving more power over who gets promoted to administrator, different roles, being able to revoke those permissions, so on and so forth. And then chunk 4 is to drop legacy group support. So moving away from the old type of groups. Anyway, that's a lot of information about groups, but I thought I would actually go through it at some point to describe what we are actually doing and how we're chunking stuff up. And this strategy is what we're using for all of the features going forward. So the big features will be chunking into smaller things. So you'll probably hear me talking about chunks a lot over the next couple months. Cool. All right. On disappearing messages, we're also doing fantastically as well. Basically, we're responding to a bunch of QA feedback that came up and also making some final changes to where the clock is positioned in terms of disappearing messages have a little clock that shows how much time it's got to disappear. We're changing the positioning of that. So that's just a final thing that we're doing in the UI. So yeah, things are going well there. On the LokiNet, well, actually, let's go core first. On the core side of things, we are continuing to take our EVM contracts, which have been written in kind of a, I would say, like a naive way, or like I'm looking for a word here. It's not production ready, essentially, like a prototype. That's the word. Well, yeah, we've written them in a prototype way, and we're looking to transition those to be more production ready. So we've been working through the functions. I think I gave an update a few weeks ago about how many functions we're through. We're through 5 of 7 functions now that need to be optimized. So that's looking really fantastic. And now we're also looking a bunch at the work that we need to do to the Oxen chain to turn it into the Oxen work chain, which is basically the chain that manages all the service node state and stuff, but doesn't manage token balances. So we're looking at that, and that's going really well. On LokiNet, we have been making a lot of progress. But the biggest thing this week is we're looking at the whole router contact system. Router contact is basically the information you use to be able to create a connection with in our sense, a router is a service node in the network. So there's these RCs that are all gossiped around, and we're changing the way that works. So previously it was just files on an operating system. We're now moving to an SQLite database where all of the router contacts will be held, and there'll be able to be it'll be a much more cleaner management system for router contacts. And we're also continuing our work on the underlying protocol refactors still ongoing, and we are doing a bunch of work on the onion messages as well. So yeah, I think that just about rounds us off. There's a bunch of little stuff that's been happening, lib session stuff, push notifications, little things, but nothing major to report there. All right, cool. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Ciao.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Marketing Labs update. Last week was another great week. So we put a video down, we dropped it on our new session YouTube channel, which is great. If you haven't seen it, we'll put a link in the description and you can check it out. It's the top 3 reasons to switch to a private messaging app in 2023. And so far, it has had a great early reception from the community, and this kind of content is going to be really good for people who are early in the privacy ecosystem. So we've also been working on another video that is just on the editing room floor at the moment, which should be dropping pretty soon as well. So that was what was going on video-wise. We also, on the session token front, have continued building out the new session community hub. Just putting final touches in there like bots, rules, pinned messages, just trying to get it all nice and schmick. We're planning to internally test that out pretty soon, either this week or next week. And once that's done, it should be in pretty good shape to set out in the wild and start collecting session token community members. So that's been really cool as well. On the foundation front, we've actually been getting a lot of recent interest, which has made us create a bunch more articles. So we've been writing up a bunch more articles to go into the OPTF blog because the foundation seems to be pretty hot right now. On the socials front as well, we had a lot of really good performing posts last week. We had one in particular where we were gathering information and research, asking people what the first way they found out about session was, and we got over 70 responses overnight, which was really great. And on the Mastodon front, we've actually been well ahead of target on our Q4 growth goals, already hitting 40% of our target growth. So we're well ahead of schedule there, so that's great. So anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you guys next time on the internet.